Happy Friday. I can't believe it's Friday. It is April 24th. We're normally not on a Friday, but you know what? I was talking to Moira and I'm like, what the hell? Why not? Why not just why not? Why not? It is like I said, April 24th. We are on Facebook. Instagram is over there, and we're on YouTube. Instagram's on my see Moira, we're on the phone.
Oh,
I know, fancy. And we're on there. And today's a special kind of talk. I don't think people really talk about abandonment and loss. I really think people shove it
yeah,
on the rug.
yeah,
And it's been something that I think affects every single one of us.
hmm
It is something that I don't know. Do you ever talk to people and they're like, "Yeah, well, I don't want to talk about it," or they shut down, or they'll just change the subject,
totally. Yeah,
change
agree.
the subject, which is crazy. Hi, Chris. Hi, Jessica.
Hi,
Thank you
Chris.
for being here. Um, so without further ado, I should tell you that oh, good, I pointed the right way. Moira is and I have known each other since 2002. I know, isn't that crazy? What happened? I think I even had almost all black hair back then.
You did.
I
You had
did.
a thick head of black hair.
Had a black hair. Now I keep it super short because all you see is when the wind blows, white or silver, and maybe not that much. I'm glad that the eyebrows stayed dark though.
You did.
Yeah,
That's what everything was that dark.
it was. It was that
Yeah.
dark.
But
But
see,
we're not
you're a silver fox now. So hey.
silver fox, or some might say silver cub or silver bear. I would like to be an armadillo. Uh, hello, hello. Thank you for being here. So Moira and I have been knowing each other for
Long
almost
time.
25 some years, and we have worked together. We have facilitated an apprenticeship program together, and we've done 3 different apprenticeship programs. And I just spit on the computer, and we have done many a retreat together. So
Yeah.
it's been awesome working with you in that way. And people love when you and I work together because they're just like, you guys just ebb and flow. I'm like, yep, it just feels easy.
That's
Hi,
fine.
Rachel. Thank you for being here. I hope you're feeling good. So, we are actually going to talk about abandonment and loss.
Yeah.
And we've been wanting to do a retreat on abandonment and loss for at least 8 years.
At least, if not longer. Yeah.
Right. And I think, both of us are adopted. So there's that loss of,
hmm
of our birth parents. And then some of us, you found your birth mother
Yeah, you did too. Yeah.
too. And then losing, well, I lost connection. She actually passed.
hmm
And it's the abandonment piece of, you know, not being wanted in a sense, but you were adopted early.
Yeah, I was only like 3 days old. It was a very quick turnaround, but there's still that sense of like, you're in the womb and then all of a sudden the person you knew, the only person you knew for 9 months, poof, just
Yeah.
gone, disappeared.
Yeah. Janiki, so good to see you from Norway. Also adopted. Love it.
Hello, fellow adoptee.
Hello, Mo Rocks on Instagram. Maria, hello. Amanda, hello. So it was the adoption piece that we talked about. We had a couple of other friends, and we're like, we should really do this, and
Mhm.
we put it to the side, put it to the side. So after after my divorce, after some other losses, my parents, obviously, your parents, we decided we're going to do it.
Yeah.
We're going to do it. Hi, Debbie. Good to see you. Your husband was also adopted. Yeah. People don't realize that there is huge abandonment issues
Oh,
when it
huge.
comes to adoptees.
Yeah,
Really, truly. I mean, not that you didn't have loving parents, not that I didn't have loving
exactly.
parents. That's
Exactly.
not it.
It's
It's the
yeah,
part that happens, like you said, in utero.
yeah,
Part that happens quickly. I was in 5 foster homes before I was 18 months old. And my birth mother actually wanted to leave this world when she was 6 months pregnant with me. And she had a 1.5-year old. She wanted to walk into the Greek Ocean and just call it quits.
yeah.
So, how does that affect me in utero? So, it's always that loss. And I think all the years that you've known me and all the people that I've dated, that you're like, yeah, no, yeah, no. Oh, God, no. What are you thinking? Really? What were you thinking? So, but you met John, so you know I got a winner.
Yeah, yeah.
It took all those going through all those people for I thought I needed to find them to make me feel better. And doing this work that we do, that's not the case. This is not the
Yeah.
case. So, we are doing I'm just going to show it everybody. We're doing, oh, there we go. We're doing abandonment and loss, moving through grief, worthiness, and belonging in LaGrange, which is about 25 minutes or so from O'Hare.
Yeah. Super close to O'Hare.
Close. And there are 13, we have 13 available spots. I think we only have 6 spots left, maybe 5. Um,
6 spots left.
6 spots left.
Yeah.
So come join us. And we're going to talk a little bit today. If you guys have questions on it, please
Yeah.
let us know. But we're going to talk today about what happens. What happens in that shift? You've been working and things that you guys don't know, besides all the wonderful things that Moira does, besides being um, a holistic practitioner. And you've been doing work around grief.
I have. Yeah, this last year I've been doing there's a gentleman named Francis Weller who if you have not read or heard of him, he has written a book called The Wild Edge of Sorrow that talks about grief, and he calls them the 5 gates of grief. And it's been transformative. It's helped me because I'm going through a divorce. And so, I was grieving. So I thought, why not dive all the way in and let myself fully grieve
Right,
in a
of course.
program. But it's been awesome and beautiful. And I appreciate how he approaches it from the place of like we all have things to grieve, and there's so
Right,
many layers around grief, right? Like we think of abandonment and loss as one kind of things, but like there's so many different ways that we can experience grief, right? And so he talks about I'll kind of go through them really quickly. um Everything we love we lose, right? So like basically that's part of life, right? Like the abandonment issues that go along with the loss, that's like another thing, but like we all experience loss. But also to remember that like loss hurts so much, usually because there was so much love involved, right? Like I loved my parents.
right.
So the loss of my parents hurt. Hey, there you go. Wild Edge of Sorrow. Great book. Highly recommended. Apparently, there's a new workbook that he came out, and I just got that. So, everything we love, we lose. The parts of us that have not known love, which is really hard, like to acknowledge a grief that isn't actually a thing, like it wasn't something that happened to you or a loss of something that you had. It's like this anomaly. It's like if you did not, right? Neglect is a form of grief, right? You can have deep, deep grief over neglect, that you, at a soul level, you expected love from your parents and attention from your parents. You didn't get it. So that's right. Like there's a grief in that. Um, Sorrows of the world. There's a
Mm,
lot going on right now that we're all grieving, right? What we expected and did not receive. And this is part where belonging comes in because he talks a lot. I really love this. He talks a lot about village, right? How at a DNA level for thousands and thousands of years, right? When you were born into a community, it was your village, right? So you were
Right.
born with your parents, but it was like your auntie and your neighbor, like they were the ones who like carried you and showed you things and saw, oh, look, this is the gift that this little one has. Okay, great. We're going to take you over to Uncle so and so because he's a gifted healer or he's a storyteller, right? So like you always had people around you to not only welcome you into tribe, into the community, but also who saw you, right? Like, I see you, I see your gifts. And so they like raised you in that. So that piece is the belonging piece that I'm really hoping that we can work with because we in America and Western society, we're very individualized and
Right.
so we have lost our connection to community and I know, I mean, Elias and I have been doing community work forever. It's been a huge staple in my personal growth and healing. Let's see what else. Ancestral grief is another thing that he talks about. And there's lots of others, right? Like environmental grief, what's happening to the earth.
That's
Yeah.
a lot. Hi, Ren. Good to see you. Dana, hello. Lisa, hello. Amanda says, yes, people can abandon you and still be physically present.
Oh, totally.
Those situations are the ones I think I struggle with the most. Yep. So true. So
Yeah.
true. You and I have gone through that as well. It's like people have decided to leave for
Mm-hmm.
whatever reason. And it's, when people are like, oh, it's a season, a reason, or a lifetime. Yes, yes, true, but it doesn't take away that initial it doesn't take the trigger that happens when that happens. May not be for that person. It may not be for that person. It may be from the person that left you the first time.
Yeah.
I have to tell you, I could not go to funerals, and I had to, but I couldn't go to funerals the first 5 years after my parents died.
Really.
It was really odd. Hey, Kathleen Lowe, so good to see you. And Sue, hello. Kimberly, good to see you. Thank you for being here. Yeah, it was. I remember my mom's cousin, who I called aunt because that's how you did it in the Greek tradition. She passed literally, I think, 40 days after my mom.
Oh.
And I was like, I don't know about this. I don't know about this. Then my mom's other cousin passed away um, right after my dad, which was a year and a couple months after. And I was bawling, not only for her, but for my dad, for my mom. And just being in church it gave me, it wasn't a bad feeling. It was just really intense,
Yeah.
really intense. And I think people don't recognize those feelings that are there. And how do we move through the sense of loss? And what's on the other side?
Right. Right.
I think that's important to ask. So how about for all of you? What do you what do you feel? What do you feel with abandonment and loss, and how do you handle grief? I I'm gonna people know this because I talk about it, but I know that sometimes either I can't eat anything, or if I'm upset about something, I'm an emotional leader. So it's either I go to the food or I'm not hungry at all.
Mm-hmm.
And we're talking not just like a slice of cake, you guys. I've eaten a bundt cake in 2 days, paid for it on day 2 and 3. But
Mm-hmm.
um, I've yeah, it's just crazy. Um, Janicki says, "Love and sorrow walk hand in hand." So true.
Absolutely.
So true. What about for you?
Like, what do I do in my grief?
Yeah.
Um, I it's r it has been really hard for me to let myself cry, but over the last year, I've really let myself cry. Like ugly, boohoo, like all by myself, like wail. I've never wailed in my life. And this
Yeah.
last year, I finally let myself wail. Um, I literally went to a grief ceremony last year,
Mhm.
and it was beautiful. It was awesome. There's something it's what I find interesting is this dynamic of like which grief and playing into abandonment and loss and the this kind of like idea of being in the field of grief alone versus not alone.
Mhm.
This is what's shown up for me. Like, yes, we absolutely we grieve alone, right? But we forget the way people used to grieve, right? We used to have funerals. We used to have community around us so that we could be supported as we moved through our grief. And there's something has shifted in society, whether it's because we're individualized or people have become so focused on celebration of life, which is beautiful. But there, I can't tell you how many people I know like never have a funeral because they don't want to they don't want to deal with it. They don't want to not even that they don't want to deal with it, but there's just that community space is absent. And I think I grew up Catholic going to funerals. I went to so many funerals growing up. Right? Like I didn't know most of them, but it was like this ritual of being able to acknowledge someone's transition to another place
Right.
and the comfort of not being alone, right? Being surrounded by people. And there's I think this plays into abandonment, right? When we feel abandoned, we feel alone, but there's something about being in community that I feel like is really healing for that abandonment piece, right? Like we need to reinforce the opposite of abandonment. And my community for me has been everything ever since COVID. I've just kind of sunk more and more and more into community and friendship and you know the quality of just having good relationships with people
Right.
has helped me. I know it's helped me kind of work through all these layers of abandonment and loss and grief and sorrow and make sure I'm steeped in love as well.
And that's the important part too, that we don't recognize that loss is part of life, right?
Mhm.
And I think, like you said, community was very different. I remember being taken to all the funerals and the wakes, and
Mhm.
Greek wakes are long. They're 2 days usually, and it was a lot. I mean, I think for my mom's, yeah, for my mom's, we only made it one day. I think we made it one. It was just too hard. It was way too hard. I'm like, I
Yeah.
don't know if I could do this up there at the casket. I just couldn't. Debbie says, being back at my mom's, being her caregiver, it was my grandma's house. I was her caregiver is hard. Yeah, sure.
That's a lot of layers of grief there.
Hi, Susan. Ren says, my best friend passed in 2020. I was utterly devastated when I learned of his passing. I worked on a journal where I wrote in the journal like I was talking to him. I kept that journal going. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Amanda says, 3 years since my mom died. Oh, her birthday and death day were both this week.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So sorry, honey. I'm mentally checked out, honestly. Find myself reminiscing a lot and looking at photos.
Mm,
Yep. It's what I did for the first 10 years.
yeah.
Like all the photos, I would just pull them all out. Um, for as long as I needed. Um,
Still
I,
have the journal.
Kathleen Loso says, I'm dealing with this now with my mom. Her mom is going through dementia and the later stages of it. Yeah.
That's hard.
I think that's sad. It is sad. It is very sad. Maria says, as an introvert, I find that when I'm grieving, I can't handle being around other people. Yep.
Mm.
And we've talked about this before, and people think I'm such an extrovert, but I am an ambivert, which is I'm an extrovert, and then once that juice is done, when the battery's like that recharge, I just tune inward and I'll just go to my room or go hug the dogs or just like not. I just need to like chill for a while. Chris says we used to take food and paper supplies to those who lost a loved one, sit
Oh,
for
yes.
hours crying and laughing, sharing stories. Yep. Kimberly says the quiet is the worst. I know.
Yeah.
I agree with Moira 100%. I was just sharing this with a male friend this afternoon. Yep. And Dana's a grief coach.
Oh, there you go.
Um,
That's off to you for deep work.
yeah. Sue says, I have a tendency to isolate myself more and more when grieving. I lost my husband of 40 years 9 years ago. I'm just starting to let people back in my life.
Yeah.
Traditions help us structure those through the structure through initial loss. True. Very true.
Yeah.
Says I was a caregiver for my daddy and my mama. I was so hard for being an only child. Mama has been gone 2 years. My sister-in-law, just heartbroken still. Yep. Runs
Yeah.
insane. The hardest for me is my sister-in-law. She was murdered. The anger. Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah. Anger is good fuel, right? And anger has every right to be in the grief space as sadness.
Yep. Sue Webb Burgess, one of my favorite life coaches. Awesome. 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 So we deal with stuff every day, everyone. And sometimes, hi, Sarah K. Campbell. Sometimes we are good at putting on a mask.
Hmm.
Sometimes we're good at just emotionally throwing up. And sometimes we keep it to ourselves. None of those are wrong.
Yeah.
None of them are wrong. I think, hey, Pandora, grieving unexpected losses is particularly difficult. Happened with both of my parents. Yes. Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. Unexpected, especially because there's a shock that's involved,
Yep.
right? And the shock hits your nervous system, hits your energetic body in a particular way that I'm glad you brought this up because what what that shock can do, and it doesn't always have to be unexpected, right? It can just be a like a deep, like I was a daddy's girl growing up and I lost my dad at 25, and I think while it was a long progression, he had cancer. um, when he actually died, I really think I still went into shock.
Mm-hmm.
When you go into shock, what can happen is it freezes your grief state, right? So Francis Weller talks a lot about warming the field of grief, which is what we will be doing at the retreat. A lot of warming, like just cozy warming, um, because it does it. If we don't address it, it freezes in us, and when our grief freezes, everything else starts to freeze too, right? Like you can't shed your tears, you lose your sense of passion, you lose your sense of joy, of laughter. Like it can happen, but it's like that freeze just pulls all of you in. And so the more we can work on warming ourselves up, thawing ourselves up, thawing ourselves off. What's the word I'm trying to say? Yeah.
You got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, right. It's that thawing that helps us be able to slowly enter grief, because sometimes grief can feel so overwhelming that like you have the experience of it's too much grief, and if I let myself cry, I'm never going to stop and I'm never going to recover, which is again why we need community, why we need that sense of belonging, because they are the people outside of us is who helps bolster us, right? And pulls us back from that place of feeling like we can't do it alone, because you shouldn't have to.
You shouldn't have to. And that's the thing, everybody. How many of you Well, let me read these real quick and then
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah, yeah.
that. Rachel says, I lost many very close. It started with my husband, then my stepfather, then my three best friends, and then their husbands, then my uncle and my aunt. The last was my mom. This all happened in 6.5 years.
Oh,
Wow.
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 I
Farah, hello, Farah. Thanks for being here. Um, let's see. I suppress my feelings so much it's like I eat them. I'm trying to learn to feel them. I hear it, Debbie. I've done it. Um,
absolutely.
Pandora says, yes, same. Lost dad
Mm.
at 25. Didn't grieve him until mom passed when I was 44.
Yeah.
The
Really.
shock.
Mm.
Yes, my mama died suddenly. I wasn't there. I froze. I get this. Linda says, very true. Lisa said, same with my sister in law. The shock, it's hard to get through. Um, I still don't feel healed, if that makes sense. Yeah, I get it.
Mhm.
Kimberly says, grief without loss. My daughter suffered birth trauma. You love and they are your everything, but anger and grieve all over. She has lost, grieve and, but anger and grieve over all she has lost. Does that make sense? Yes, totally does. Totally does. And that's the thing. It's the part of losing and not feeling seen, heard, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna be blunt, everybody. So when my mom passed, um, I would have to say that the cousins that I thought would come closer didn't, and the ones that I was not as close to did. Shocking, just shocking. My cousin, my cousin Tina told me. She said, "I loved your mom so much because she was the only relative that would sit down with us and say, 'Tell me about your day.' All the other adults would just ignore the kids." And she's like, "Your mom never did." And,
Mm.
even though I say that, it's still like, it's like a, I don't know, it just wrenches when I say it. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
yeah, you get it. And the people that, when my dad passed, I have so many relatives on my dad's side. One cousin called
Mm.
after the funeral. Just one.
So not only were you dealing with loss, but then also family abandonment.
Right. So, because, we used to go all the time. And this because you're Chicagoan. So, guys, from the north side to the south side, it's a long drive. It is a lot, especially if they're southwest. Like if you
Oh,
go from Wilmette area to Tinley Park, that's like a
hard.
good hour and some. You have
Try
to
to.
2 hours, really?
It could be 2 hours in traffic nowadays.
So, you guys, we used to go. I'm just gonna. Some of this won't make sense to you, but we used to. You it will be, but some of you it won't. But we used to go from the Edens to the Kennedy to the Dan Ryan to some other. Sometimes the Eisenhower would be involved somewhere. It was like 3 or 4 different highways to get to my dad's relatives. And the thing that sucked was we did all this and the Greek guilt was there. Like, if you don't go, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, why do we have to go? Um, Nothing.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. That's a like double whammy.
Yep. So,
Mhm.
cheers on that.
Uh-huh. Yeah, abandonment shows up in weird ways, and it could be just like I experienced a similar, not to that extreme, but just like my aunt who never had kids. I was the closest one to her. When she got older and got some dementia, like I was the only one doing things for her. I had a couple of cousins that showed up every once in a while, but there was like I was losing my aunt because she was had dementia.
Right.
But there was this sense of, like, abandonment of family. There was a lot of hurt in that. I was kinda surprised by that. Um,
I Miss LA, when family abandonment is so super hurtful. It's so true. It's so true. Yes, why does the extended family pull away and even friends like they thought it was bad luck, Rachel? I get it. And sometimes people don't know what to do. They don't know what to do. They don't know
totally.
what to say.
Yeah.
Um, the people you thought would be there what weren't. My uncle, my mama's brother never showed up. Shocked. I idolize him. Yep.
Mm,
I totally agree. My circle got very small.
yeah.
It sure is. Never mind rush hour. Oh, I know. Yeah. Dana says, I recently was diagnosed with cancer.
Mm,
And same here.
oh,
It's amazing who is around and who is not. It's hard to process both those emotions. Yes, it's very true. Very,
yeah.
very true. Pandora says, pack a lunch for the car trip. Um, Selena, good to see you. Thank you for being here. Gail Black, hello. Maria says, I'm 3,000 miles away from home, and no one told me mom was ill. I was told 2 days after she died.
Whoa.
Hi, Connie Love.
Connie.
Hi, guys. Denial and not accepting the truth. Yeah,
Yeah.
very true.
Yeah.
Abandonment is so hard. Love you. Well, we love you too.
Yeah.
If they knew, and I mean that, I don't mean to like, and we love you too. Go, yeah, we love you too. Um, if they knew all they would have to do is be there. Yep.
Right?
Right.
Yeah.
I
And
think, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say the thing that sucks about abandonment is we internalize it, right? We internalize it and we think we did something wrong, or it feeds into the unworthy piece. And it's there's oh my God, the amount of stuff we take personally that really has nothing to do with us. It's really just about other people's capacity. And by not having um, a space for grief, less and less people have capacity to be around other people in their grief
Right.
because everybody else is just bypassing it.
And, like you said, back in the day, I remember when there was somebody passed. The moment we heard that that person passed, my mom would pack up stuff and we'd go right to that relative, obviously, go
Mhm.
to that house, see what they needed, help them with stuff, help them making phone calls. It was,
Yeah.
it was that whole thing. And I think honestly, um, and also I was lucky to have Gary and to have my friend Ellen there when my mom passed. But I knew a lot what to do because I went through all those funerals. I
Yeah.
went through all those wakes. And it was just, it's a lot. It's a lot.
Mhm.
And and it's hard because it's not only that grieving, like everyone has said, but it's the abandonment. It's the now what?
Yeah.
Now what? I
Yeah.
remember I lost it the first time. I had to write down, and I was single at this time. I had to write down an emergency phone number. Who's my emergency contact?
Yeah.
That was
No
that
more
was
parents.
that was a hard one.
Yep.
Um, Gail says I was my family's caregiver. Everyone just disappeared. Yeah,
Oh, wow.
it's okay, Kathleen. It's all good. It's all good. So we're gonna talk a lot about this stuff, and this isn't. I want you to know that the reason why we're doing this is to heal this piece.
Mhm.
It's really to heal it because we have both seen in our practices people that hold on to this for years. And what happens? They get sick.
Yeah.
Their emotional body holds on to that pain and grief and that aloneness, and they get ill. And if they're not working it through their system, it's challenging. Grief, the first place that grief shows is in the lungs. And so It's not uncommon for people to get a chest cold after someone passes.
Yeah.
So Maria says, a much needed topic. Lisa says, I think I still say now what? Yeah.
Well, so here, it's the energy's a little heavy, right?
Right.
I'm glad you asked, Lisa. The thing about grief is when you can step into the field of grief and honor everything, it is so transformative.
Mm-hmm.
It is a field of potency that like you don't get in any other space. It's a hard field to be in, right? Like you're really in a space of it's just hard. It's
Yep.
really hard. But I believe that my experience has shown me that if I let myself feel everything, I feel all the anger, all the sadness, all the frustration, all the fear, it starts transforming things, right? And through all of that heat that you're generating by allowing yourself to feel all that stuff, it starts showing you and revealing things about yourself that you never really were able to look at, right? So I know for me, I'm in this space of like letting anger show up. And but it's really cool because what I'm seeing very directly is as I'm allowing myself to feel the anger, it's like the steam of fog is clearing. So I'm actually able to see things clearer. And in being able to see things clearer, I'm not taking it personally. I'm able to kind of distance myself from things in a really healthy way. So there's this potency of the grief field. It has a way of being able to work with you to be able to expand your system out of this contracted small state, but you need people around you. You need space. Like it's all about space. You need space to be able to feel all the things, to not feel them alone, but with people. I mean, like you just need all the things. It's a really beautiful space to be in, even when it's really freaking hard.
Jiniki, thanks for being here. She says it's 2:30 in the morning in Norway.
Ooh.
Love to stay, but tired. So important work you do. Thank you. God bless. God bless you too, my friend. Thank you for being here. You have to feel it to be able to let it go. So true.
Yeah.
Lisa says, I live my best life for them and me. Yep.
Mm-mm.
Lisa, that's why I'm overweight. Yeah.
Mm.
Miss Aldia, good to see you, my friend. One of the 6 root causes of disease is unresolved emotions.
Mm-hmm.
So true.
Mm-hmm.
So if you guys are interested in this, like we said, we have spots. Oops, there we go. We have spots moving through grief, worthiness, and belonging. You can go to either one of our websites, either Moira's or mine, and you could look at the information. If you have any questions, please contact Moira or myself.
Yeah. Happy.
Moira's doing all the registration, so please contact her if you have any questions about what's this and that. And guys, it is completely casual. It's not about dressing up. It's
Yeah.
not about it's going to be late May, so who knows what Chicago weather is going to be like. It might be freezing or maybe super hot. So who knows? But check before. And the food is good, and the lodging is you have your own room with your own bathroom, private bathroom, which is nice. There's a nice, comfortable community area, and then we have a kitchen upstairs. That's all for us. If you want to bring snacks or whatever, and then there's a what do you want to say cafeteria style? It's kind of like buffet style
Yeah.
food, which is good. Um,
Lots
so
of options.
lots of options. Pandora says sometimes it isn't even the people but the people who may share a common experience that really helps us release the energy.
Yeah.
Yes, true. or Chicago is perfect. Yep. Um, if someone who could take care of my girl, I would be first at the door.
Aw.
I know. I hear you, Kimberly. And you know what? Here's what I'm going to say. Totally up to you. But put it out there. Put it out there. See what can happen. You never know. That's the thing. I used to be like, well, I'm not sure, and one never knows. We can't. Worst thing people can say is no, and then
Mhm.
it's a no, right? Chef James, hello, my friend. Good to see you. Good to see you on the Instagram. Um, Lisa, love you both. Thank you, Lisa. Love you too. And come join us, you guys. Really
Yeah.
do. Moira, tell everybody your website.
Oh, this.com.
Nice. This.com. That is not what it is. It's not this.com. Just so everybody knows.
MoiraScullion.com.
Her name.com. I'm putting it right here so everybody can see.
There you go. See, with as heavy as this is, Elias and I always have fun. You gotta laugh. Levity is good medicine.
You have
This is
to.
my cat's tail, sorry.
I know. And you know what? That's an important thing too, guys. Your animals know. They always know. They always know when things are going on. So
Oh, yeah.
go check out Moira's this right here. That.com. Go check that out right there. Go check that out. And and I'm pointing on Instagram the wrong way. So on Instagram it's this.
Okay.
It's this right there on Instagram. Let me see. I'm looking at, there you go, right there, Instagram.
Mhm.
Thank you. She is the Oracle. Hello, my friend. You'll have to watch the replay. But guys, come join us. It is in a month and a week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Around the corner.
Hello? Somebody just knocked on the must be Willow. Okay. Who knows? Okay, go
The
there.
animals know.
The animals know, right? All right, guys, check out the outro, and that's what we're doing next. And if you haven't watched the YouTube interview that I've done with Amazing Soul Films, go to YouTube, then punch in the search Amazing Soul Films, then put in my name, watch it. It's about an hour. Comment on it, like it, and we appreciate you being here. Remember, we are here to connect. And when we connect, we educate. And when we educate, we grow. There's unity in community. From our hearts to yours, be well. And remember, real talk gets real answers. Here's a little secret. Check out tomorrow some stuff that's happening on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook, because I'm putting something new out there. I have a traveling retreat. You'll see what that's all about. All right, everybody. Be well and stay for the outro.